Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and today I'm joined by Angel
Hello.
and Mother, Eric.
Mother,
Mother!
yes. Baby, baby.
Baby!
It's been a long time, probably before the holidays, but we're back with more Sheila Carter beginnings. So I will roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So this was really sad.
Yeah, I had to cut this. When I was watching, I watched on Friday and then I stopped after, the sad part happened. And I was like, okay, I'll watch the rest of it later. It's too sad.
I thought I would be more emotional, but I wasn't.
I wasn't.
I felt bad. Well, do you feel bad for Lauren? Or are you still like good?
I do. I do feel
Yeah,
bad
I
for
did feel
Lauren.
bad for Lauren.
I mean, you could be an asshole and I still feel bad for you. It
Yeah.
happens.
This
So
is too sad.
I don't really remember, but I guess last that we left off, the baby had a fever, so they brought him to the hospital.
Mhm.
And pretty much half of what we watched was them trying to like get his fever down and get the
Mhm.
baby well. But they couldn't do it. They kept giving him antibiotics. Nothing was working. Turns out he had meningitis.
Yeah.
Um,
I
Sheila,
don't know what meningitis is.
I don't know either. I just know that I had it as a baby, and for obvious reasons, I'm still alive. So you
I was
can't
gonna
get
say, I feel like it's a baby
meningitis.
disease.
Yeah,
It's a baby disease.
I
I
mean, I'm
had
sure adults can get it, but it's probably more prevalent in babies.
yeah,
And I guess if
I
the
had
fever gets
I had
worse, you
what's
don't
called
make it.
spinal
If
meningitis.
Mm. Which I think
hmm.
treated, you could be paralyzed, right? Or
Yeah, but I'm walking, obviously.
obviously you would.
She
Um,
walks, she talks.
She walks, she talks.
and I guess in babies, their immune systems are still
Hmm.
building,
Developing.
that they really can't fight it. Um, so yeah, that was really sad. I actually, I don't know. I felt more emotion from Paul.
Yeah.
But we all know that Doug Davidson could cry at the drop of a hat.
Yes. Yes. That
Yeah.
guy.
um, for the first part, Sheila was mostly just being insecure and like
Hmm.
wanting Scott to stay home and spend time with her, but he like wanted to be at the hospital with Lauren and get this baby cured. Also, he got the test results of his paternity test.
Hmm.
I forgot the name.
The name of.
For our audio only listeners, that's Eric trying to control his animal.
I did it with the mute off or the mute on. I don't know what's going on with this thing.
um, what was I saying?
You forgot the name of somebody. I forgot.
Oh, he used like a code name for the paternity test, so he didn't say.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot what it
It
was
was like
too.
John Smith or something like that. Something very
Baby
generic.
Smith, something like that. I don't know.
And Baby Smith.
Hmm.
But the doctor is trying to like deliver these results, but Scott is like, I don't have time for this right now.
Hmm.
And he gives them to Sheila because that's his wife, and
Yeah.
she opens it and she puts two and two together that he thinks that he thought that he was the father of her baby.
Hmm.
She's like, no, I got to get him the results because she wanted him to know that
Hmm.
it wasn't.
Um, which I was like trying to remember like the details of this because she still thinks that oh my god, Doug Davidson,
Paul.
Paul, I'm gonna call him Mike. Paul is the father of the baby she stole, right?
Yes.
But that didn't really come into play here. So I didn't know why she got rid of the envelope. She like threw the envelope and like folded it up like she was gonna hide the results, but then she went in
Mhm.
there to like deliver the results, and Scott's like, I don't have time for this. Like this baby's dying. Like I have to like save this baby.
Mhm.
Because in his head he's probably still like, this is my baby.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was.
um I guess, do you think Scott like knew that it was the baby was about to die because like he told Paul to get Lauren out of there.
Yeah.
Probably.
Like that it was going to happen soon.
Yeah,
Mhm.
probably. And remember, the baby's fever went up to 106.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a
They had to
very
give him
high.
an ice bath. Yeah, wasn't
Um,
good.
I didn't know how they were going to try to resuscitate this baby because I was like, do they do? I was like, I feel like doing a like the shock. You don't do that on babies. Like I feel like that would jolt them out of the crib.
No, I don't think they do. I don't think they can shock babies.
Yeah, it looked like they were doing like
I'm not positive though.
infant CPR on him.
Mhm.
Unless they have like a light shock. I don't know. I have to look into that. I'm curious.
Well, they didn't do that here, but I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and revive this.
They probably wouldn't have in 1991.
Yeah, probably not.
So, quick side story: one of my best friends just had a baby. I just went to visit her like a week ago,
Oh yeah, I
and
saw
Congratulations to
pictures.
them.
Cute.
we were just talking about like how they don't have like viewing windows anymore, and like the baby pretty much for the most part stays with the mother in the room.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She was like telling me about like, oh yeah, you know, they like put a bracelet on his ankle or whatever, and they like scan it, and the mother has it, whatever. And I was like, it's funny you mentioned bracelets. I'm like, because on The Young and the Restless in 1990, I'm like, there's this character Sheila Carter who cut the bracelet off and put a new one on and did the whole footprint thing.
Mhm.
Did you
And I
have?
was like,
Did you?
probably why they do the scan now because of her.
Yeah.
Did you see a birthmark?
I was like, I'm sure that's not why they do it. I was like, but that had to be based in some reality. I'm sure a lot of babies were switched.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a thing. Unfortunately, sadly.
So she thought that was funny. Anyway, back to the show.
Back to the show.
So the baby dies. I felt bad for Lauren. I thought I would be crying with her, but I wasn't. Like I said, Paul kind of elicited more of an emotional
Mhm.
response out of me. And
Young and the
I don't know,
Restless music was playing too.
I felt like Scott should have cried more.
Yeah,
Yeah, he should have.
And I couldn't tell
Nadia's theme played.
because
Yeah, Nadia's theme played.
yeah, that was nice.
That's what got
Yeah.
me Nadia's theme because I remember when Cassie died and that the Nadia's theme was playing.
You know, I've never actually seen Cassie's death. I've only seen like 5-second clips here and there or picked like screenshots of it. I've never actually like watched it.
We'll get to it one day.
I didn't watch the whole episode. I just watched like literally the whole clip of when she flatlines and
Ugh.
Nadia's theme plays.
I have watched Colleen's last episode with JT.
Oh,
like,
that pisses me off.
even
Her
though
death pisses me off.
that's not my Colleen, but still, just the whole JT and Colleen.
Hashtag not my Colleen.
So yeah, so Lauren asked to be left alone with the baby so she could say her goodbyes. And it kind of fades into Sheila rocking her baby. Or
Kimberly Brown did not have to go that hard on Rockabye Baby, but she did, and I'm happy for
it
it.
was almost like baby died.
Yeah.
Like happy rocking her baby.
Yeah.
So that was good.
And that's when I stopped. That's when I stopped watching for the day. I was like, she doesn't have to go that hard on that. I was like, oh.
That was actually the last scene of that episode. Like that's how it ended, and then I went
Yeah.
to the closing credits.
Oh wow.
So then she goes to visit Mother,
Mother.
who she actually called Mama. She didn't call her Mother.
Mama.
She only calls her Mother when she's like yelling at her.
She did call her mother eventually because she got mad.
So now she's saying baby instead of Bobby.
Yeah, she knows how to say baby now.
And that's when she was like, "Shut up, Mother." So then, because she's like screaming at her mother, and the nurse comes in and she's like, "What's going on here?" And she's like, she's being out of control, and they're like, "How? She can't do anything."
She's babbling.
And she's
like, "Oh, you mean baby?"
Probably wants to see her grandchild.
Right.
Like, I don't want to bring my baby here to see her grandmother, see his grandmother like this. And she was like, "Oh," she's like, "Did they tell you the good news?" And she's like, "What good news?" And Molly's her name, right?
Molly.
Yeah.
She like looked at her like, "Bitch, shut up! Don't tell her."
Yeah, she was.
She was just like, she's gonna like break my ankles or something.
Sure is.
Yes, exactly.
Coming.
That she's doing well, and that she doesn't have to be there anymore. She could either go to a rehab or she could go home with Sheila. And she was like, great. But now Molly didn't even look scared. She looked at her like, yeah, bitch, what you gonna do? She was doing great eye acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good.
So Scott goes to see Lauren. I think that episode was a partial episode because we didn't actually see the first visit. We saw the second visit. But Lauren is like wanting to give him some of the baby's clothes that she bought, never got to wear, and the toys. That was sad. That made me really sad.
That was sad.
That was sad. And I also thought at the same time, I'm like, how poor are him and Sheila?
I thought that too, because he was like, oh, me and Sheila really can't afford stuff like this. And I was like, but you're a doctor.
But you're a doctor.
And she's a nurse.
Well,
she's a nurse.
That's good money.
That's good money. Yeah, that's good
I'm
money.
like,
but I guess not.
I guess in comparison to Lauren, who is like the owner of like basically a Macy's.
How expensive are the baby clothes that he can't afford?
Oh, Lauren probably took those off of.
We only shop thrift.
They're
like probably marked down.
So he takes them, and she was like, well, do you need to talk to Sheila? And I'm like, you probably should talk to Sheila, but whatever. Sheila goes storming into John Silva,
yeah,
office to do something about like her mother being released, and he's like, there's nothing we could do. She's fine. Like,
she's fine.
Not fine. She needs to stay there.
And he's just like, what is going on here? He's like, why are you so crazy? Pretty much.
Why have you gone crazy since we dated? Why?
Yeah, we never actually saw that. Did they date?
That's what he keeps saying, and we didn't.
Or is it like a backstory?
It was a backstory.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was just to give Sheila like another connection in town, I think.
Yeah, because we watched pretty much since our first. I mean, granted, there were gaps, but like we didn't really miss too much. Yeah, so he's like suspicious and concerned why she's acting a little crazy, and she doesn't want her mother to like be better and get out.
Yeah.
And that was it. We watched all of November sweeps.
Well, she said her mom's insane too. So
well, she looks like the insane one.
Well, there is one more thing. Lauren was set the paw, put a baby in me.
Oh, that's right.
Get over this Dylan situation.
Yeah, and every time she said Dylan, I'm like,
Lauren.
Remember. I'm like, did they ever reference that she had a baby named Dylan, or like when she got her baby back, did she just forget about the dead baby?
That's
dead baby gone.
The ladder.
Also, I was thinking about this week. The whole Sammy, Nicole, Sydney story is pretty much a ripoff of this. Because Nicole stole Sammy's baby and gave her another baby that died.
Oh, that is true.
And it was EJ's biological baby. So it's almost like paint by numbers, a ripoff of this storyline. And that's the Dina Higley, right? Yeah, that's the one storyline that I think Dina Higley gets praised for, and I'm like, but it's a ripoff of a Bill Bell.
I feel like I wonder if somebody else on the team was on Y&R and they pitched that story to Dina.
Yeah, I wonder.
Pictures are like a tale as old as time with soap operas.
Yeah,
but
they really are.
Hey, in 1991, I did this storyline on Y&R.
They forget it by the mid-2000s.
And I was like, it's almost like a paint by numbers like replica of the story.
It is, but I feel like there wasn't, like Sheila wasn't, or there was no villain really with Sammy and Nicole. Like they weren't purely evil. Like,
well, didn't Sheila have a miscarriage? Nicole had a miscarriage, and that's why she came up with that plan. And she found Mia. The only difference is she found Mia, a teenager that was pregnant. Sheila found an illegal adoption thing. That's
right. Just slightly different.
And Faye wasn't around for Nicole to be like, mother.
and
but she would have.
I don't think Lauren is going to slap the shit out of Sheila at the end of this, the way Sammy did.
I mean, you never know.
You never know,
That could
but
be why she ends up in the cabin. Like,
she ends up in the
Yeah,
cabin.
that's
but,
true.
like, Sammy slapped the shit out of Nicole. That was the best part of that whole story.
I mean, I was listening to some old Daytime Confidential podcasts, and I think they were talking about their scariest villains. It was like a top 10 thing, and Melody Equals brought up Sheila, and they were talking about, I don't know, it was one of Sheila's returns, maybe 2021 or whatever, and I guess Steffi slapped her, and she was like, "No, the old Sheila," she's like, "if you would have slapped her, you would have ended up in like a bird cage or something."
Yeah.
That's what her granddaughter did.
So if Lauren slaps her, that could be why she ends up in the cabin.
Well, when Sheila did come back to Boulder, she was trying to reform. She was trying to be better for her son Finn and all that stuff. So I mean, there was, yeah.
Not a fan.
If she did slap her, it wouldn't have been good for Finn. So, and then Sheila would have to leave. There's reasons.
Yeah. So like, I know we bring this up every time, but I want to know about this birthmark. Is this going to come into play?
Birthmark? How close are we to this birthmark?
Yeah.
How many more months is there? Like 5 months?
We just finished November. She leaves in May, so 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
We don't have too much longer.
Unless we missed it, because nobody's talking about it as much as they were.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we did miss it.
But that feels like a big thing. Like, I just feel like there would be flashbacks.
Yeah, there would definitely be a flashback of that, I would think.
So I don't know. Because I know one of you mentioned that Kimberly Brown said that that's like the one thing she didn't really agree with.
Yeah.
That. Yeah, and I feel like even though Sheila is descending into Crazy Town, she's not at peak crazy just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what a birthmark would have to do with anything at this point. You would need it when that other baby's alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So going back to Paul and Lauren wanting to have a baby,
It wasn't Paul who wanted the baby. You could tell by his face. He was like,
I was like, seriously?
She was like, what?
Do I really want this? Right after Cassandra Rollins?
Oh my god.
She probably just needs to be like talked down a little bit. I mean, her baby just died, so she just feels like if she has another baby instantly, like it would instantly heal her.
She's just
she's not thinking.
She's looking to get rid of the pain and the grief.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned Paul not marrying her even though she was pregnant. Oh, because Sheila said maybe Paul. Yeah, because Sheila said to Scott, maybe Paul will marry her, and he's like, well, he didn't marry her when she was pregnant with his baby, so why would he marry her now?
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes out of Sheila, it's like, well, bitch, this bitch didn't marry Lauren, so what makes you think he's gonna marry her now? Like the way it came out of Sheila, it didn't get on my nerves as much as when it comes out of Scott. Where Scott's like, you gotta marry her.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Scott. I don't get the obsession.
What do you think of his character on Sunset Beach?
Eddie, isn't it Eddie?
Eddie, yeah, Eddie.
He's not my favorite, but he's grown on me now that I'm deeper into it.
Okay.
Because I used to rag on him all the time, and people used to be like, "Oh no, like I can't wait to see what you think later on." So like, I feel like I'm starting to care more about him or enjoying him. I don't really care about him because he's evil, but like I'm enjoying him more.
So you're a bit later on then.
Plus, when I realized he was like in Friday the 13th, I was like, "Oh, I have all these like weird connections to this actor that I didn't realize I had."
Oh yeah, he had that horrible death in the shower. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Brutal.
Did I miss anything you guys wanted to mention?
No.
No.
It was all mentioned.
Yeah, it was all mentioned. It was a nice hour episode that we watched. It was nice hour.
It was about 2 weeks.
Oh, cool.
So that's just to show you. I mean, most of it, like literally the first half hour was just basically leading up to the baby's death. And then the second half was like the aftermath. I wonder if they'll rest them for the holidays since that was like the sweep story, and they'll like just be like sporadic until February sweeps. Maybe that's
Probably.
maybe February sweeps is when the birthmark will happen.
Yeah, because I don't know where else it can go.
Right, because we know May is the cabin fire. So
Right.
Maybe it's before the cabin fire.
and I kept thinking about you, Eric, because you were like, how does Sheila and her mom get good? Like, because she's still like mother.
Right.
So
Maybe at Christmas they heal. It's the Christmas miracle.
maybe Molly starts speaking full sentences by Christmas. I don't know.
Mother, I got you a present.
I got you a present. Victor's like, oh, that's great, darling. I don't know where Victor came from. Got that.
Bringing in Lucinda.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for another edition of Sheila Carter's Beginnings. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.